Good morning, I'm Terence Allmark, Business Development Manager at UKTelehealthcare. Thank you for joining the first of our events in 2022. Next digital event following this one will be on the 1st of February, and then we're excited to announce our live marketplace on the 15th of March, but more on those to come. Today, as you can see from the programme, we have a busy and informative programme. We start off with the first section of this event, 4 presentations. And those presentations are from Chubb, Global, Chiptech and Carium. Following the presentations, there will be, in the second section of this event, a panel session, a training update. And included in that training update is Disabled Living Foundation and University of Cumbria will be both giving presentations and a Q&A session during that part of the event. During today's event, if you could use the chat facility to put any questions you want to the presenters for both the presentations and the panel session, I will put those questions to the presenters at the end of each of their presentations. During this event also, if you would like to share today's event, please use the @UKTHC News and the #text. Today's event, like all our events, there will be a full recording and all the presentations will be made available on the UK Telehealthcare website. So just before we go on to our first presentation, I'd like to hand you over to Jerry Allmark to say a few words on the training session later on in this event. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. As Sharon said, the second part of the programme today concentrates around a training update from our training partners at Disabled Living Foundation and the University of Cumbria. There's a very comprehensive presentation from Melanie Pozier at Disabled Living Foundation that not only covers their training, but their whole holistic approach to resources around delivering assistive technology and techs. So I think that's something that will be of interest not only to providers, but the suppliers as well, and also service users and carers. So there's quite a lot of information around that. So well worth watching. Then we have a presentation from Karen Morris from the University of Cumbria around their postgraduate certificate on digital health. Both those will be covered in a Q&A session, which will directly follow Karen's presentation. I would encourage you to ask any general questions via the chat during the course of the presentations today, and also any specific questions you'll have on the presentations, either through the chat or by raising your hand during the Q&A session at the end. So I look forward to seeing you later on in the programme, and for now I'll hand you back to Terence and the presentations. Thank you very much.
So I'd like to now start with our first presentation in the first part of this event. And our first presentation will be given by Sean Moscrop from Chubb. So Sean, please could you start your video? Thank you. And could you start your presentation?
It's just loading up.
Excellent.
Just going into slideshow. Okay, so Terence, if you can just give me a heads up that yes, you can see the Community Care Digital Solution screen.
Yes, I can. Thank you, Sean.
Great stuff. Okay, so good morning, everybody. My name is Sean Moscrop. I'm General Manager for Chubb Community Care. In this session, I'd like to talk to you about our new IP-based digital warden call solution. However, before doing so, just a little background on Chubb for those who are not fully aware of this organization. So Chubb are the leading combined provider of fire security assisted living services in the UK. Net sales of 250 odd million pounds makes us, we're not just a bit player, we are a large organization. So you've got the power of that organization behind us. And we have a full branch network across the UK, which operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The services that Chubb provide through Chubb Community Care are, we have a UK field-based service team. So these are on hand for maintenance and support of product and services that we supply to the market. We have our own in-house project installation team. So these are usually involved on warden call and nurse call projects. We also have behind them an in-house technical support team to help support installation of equipment, but also for any ongoing issues or situations afterwards. And we also have our own Chubb monitoring services with our own in-house monitoring service based over in Leeds. So we are a rounded organization. And with that 360-degree view of telecare, we understand how all of this fits together and the implications for when changes are made. So on to the crux of the presentation, and that is our new CS warden call IP system. We already have a CS warden call system, which is being installed within the marketplace and has been for a number of years now. And this is digitally ready in that as different sites and schemes need to switch over to digital, then we can program that service so that it will connect digitally to an ARC either via SCAPE or BS8521 Part 2. So we already have that system in place. What this is a full IP-based system. So this new system is built on 35 years of our experience within the telecare industry. It's a fourth generation warden call system. So this is a true IP-based system. It will operate PSTN and also IP protocols, and those protocols are, as I said, can be SCAPE, or they can be 8521 Part 2 or now IP into an alarm receiving center. The system will handle multiple concurrent VoIP speech paths and digital alarms. Effectively, each person within a scheme could put a call through at the same time, and all of those calls would go through to an alarm receiving center. So we're no longer limited to just one or two calls being handled at any one point in time from a scheme. We can handle full multiple concurrent VoIP speech paths. We also are offering integrated video door entry and telecommunications with this service. So yes, you can have video door entry panel at the front of a site. The person inside can receive a video picture of who's at the door before they make that decision to let them in. That same video capability is also there for family, friends, video calling out to family and friends or to other residents on site, and also for care staff to be able to video in to see the person themselves and maybe assess a situation if they need to. Supporting this is a comprehensive web-based portal. So from that web-based portal, and that could be anywhere, so you could be off-site, you could be on the other side of the country, you can actually interrogate this system to look for status, call history. You can run reports from that, and you can also configure the system. So all of this can be done remotely. You do not have to be on site to do this. And of course, supporting this system is a full range of telecare devices, the usual devices that you would expect. And for any installations that already have Chubb peripherals, those same peripherals can be reused on this new system. So that is an overview of it. Just next sort of step down, or moving a little bit more into the detail of it. For the actual person on site, inside a flat or their own home within a residence, then they have the option there of two options of how they would interface with this system. So they can have a handset with video screen, as you would see there. This is a Grand Stream version, or they can have just a pure tablet on the wall to be able to work with this system. So from that, they can raise an event through the device itself or through a pendant that they may have. They'll get two-way voice. They can handle door entry calls. They can release the front door from the system. As I said earlier, they've got family, friends, optional videos. There's also an I'm OK facility, fast dial, and they can also go into do not disturb if they want to have some peace and time to themselves for a while. Raising an alarm is quite simple, either pressing the alarm button on the device itself, which would connect with an operator and then show who you're connected to. Equally so, they can raise that alarm via a pendant or a wrist-based panic button. If you have somebody come to the front door can place a call through to your room, and then you can decide to ignore the call if you want to, or you can open up a video and talk with the person at the front door and then decide whether you're going to let them in by pressing the open door icon. Making a call to a family or friend member, then you can have a list of fast dial contacts on the device, and you can place a video-to-video call with another resident on site or out to a family member. You have the I'm OK facility as well, which can be programmed to come up onto the pad, onto the video pad on a daily basis, and you can then press a button. So, yep, I'm OK. So the site supervisor or warden knows that everything's fine, or you can press an I'm OK, I need help. Maybe you're not feeling well that day, or maybe you need somebody to talk to you, press the I need help. For the staff themselves managing one of these facilities, then you have three options. You can have the traditional decked phone system, which could be on site and they could move around with a decked phone handset themselves. You could have a pager option if you so choose to do so. And surprisingly enough, these are still quite widely used within nurse call systems. Or you can carry a smartphone, and that smartphone device can act as your link through to this system. So if an alarm is raised by a person, then the alarm can come straight through to your smartphone. Now, I should say at this point, because this is a mobile device, then you might be a warden or staff member looking after a number of schemes. Wherever you are, if your device has been set up to receive messages from different schemes, those schemes will come through to this device. So you'll see which scheme it is and also which person is raising the call. So you can get notifications of alarms via priority. You can call handle residence alarm events. You can even have the door entry come straight through to your phone. You can make the decision as a warden whether you're going to let a person in for that particular person, because this can be programmed by individual flats as well, rather than just for the whole site. You can add notes to any actions that you take, which then go up and present in the patient's record. You can do VoIP telephone calls between staff emergency alarm. You can use this as a staff attack device. You can track the staff, which is optional. There is GPS with this. You can also tag this into near field services. So you can see that a staff member has actually been to a site and been to a particular point in that site where they've just tagged the phone against it. And as I say, you can zone the calls directed to specific staff members. The video door panel, as you see, video door panel, basic, straightforward touchscreen, can contact the resident, or it can be diverted straight through to an ARC. remote lock and release by the staff member or the ARC itself or the resident. You can have key fob reader for access control. All of these events are logged in the central record. There's night vision camera, and optional, you can even use fingerprint reader for access control. Behind this, it's a management portal for setting up, so who accesses, first of all, the service itself, the actual reports, and the status of what's going on in the scheme. You can have different access levels for that, for different members within your team. You can access call activity logs, and remember guys, so long as you have a broadband connection, you can do this from anywhere to be able to access what's going on with this particular system. So you can have full ARC call history for what's going on with that site, and also all the activities that have taken place on that particular site. You can generate staff reports from this as well, so that it's possible to run a set number of standard reports, incident detail by a resident, for example, maintenance report, call activity, asset register, what equipment have you got on site, all of that can be run remotely as well. And then you also have the ability to configure this system to suit your particular needs. As I mentioned, you've also got the support of a range of standard telecare peripherals. So this is a range of Chubb telecare peripherals that if you have existing stock of this, it will work with the new site. So if you transfer from an old Chubb site to one of these new sites, a lot of the peripherals can be reused in the new site, so you don't have to do a full repurchase of all that equipment. So, in summary, this is a full IP-based system. So it will work on Cat6 cabling throughout the site. So yes, the site would need to be recabled, but then if you're going to go to video or use of video, you're going to have to recable the site anyways, because the old twisted pair network or infrastructure will not support video moving forward. You'll have full video and speech capability within the site and also off the site. It is, as I said, capable of handling multiple concurrent calls and digital alarms. You have remote access for programming. The system is also intelligent in the sense that it will identify where faults have occurred within the system. So devices which are low battery or devices which have gone off reporting or have been identified as not reporting into the service, then that can be reported directly out to yourselves, or it can actually be reported directly out to a maintenance provider. So the maintenance provider will actually get a heads up as to what is wrong with the system before you even know yourselves. It is also ARC monitoring platform agnostic. So we're not selling this as a Trojan horse to then tie you into a particular ARC or scheme. You choose where you want this system to point to. So long as that system, the ARC that it points to, runs SCAPE or BS852 1 Part 2, now IP, then this system will work with that, that particular ARC. And finally, although this is just a quick run through today to give you a heads up of this, for a full system showcase and demonstration, we will be at the TSA conference this year, 28th, 29th of March in Birmingham, whereby for all interested parties, you get a chance to look at this system working on the stand and can ask further questions there about how we can help you moving forward. So, guys, thank you for your time this morning. Hopefully this has been of interest to you, and I look forward to getting some feedback or picking up any questions that you may have later on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sean. We have a couple of questions from our delegates.
Yeah.
There might be connected questions, one from Kate, one from Nano. I'll read them out to you, both of them, as it might be connected to the same answer. Is a smartphone a standalone separate phone, or can this be an app on an existing phone.
It can be an app on an existing phone. It's the app itself is an Android-based app. So any phone running Android, we can certainly set that up.
And then the second question, which said it might be connected, how hard is it to connect to other e-health? Sorry, the question's just moved. E-health telecare devices via BLE or Wi-Fi?
We have some Bluetooth capability with this. It does come down to the handset itself, but one of those two room units that we showed there, the Grandstream unit with the handset, that actually has Bluetooth and also Wi-Fi hotspot capability. So with that device, because it's it's a Cat6 cable into the back of it, which is your broadband connection into that device. Once you have that, then that device itself can act as a Wi-Fi hotspot within the flat itself or within the rooms itself to then be able to Wi-Fi other connected pieces of equipment into it. So yeah, you're going down the route there, and that's the beauty of going into IP protocol based options, of them being able to bring other not so much necessarily consumer-based products in, but certainly telehealth products with Wi-Fi connectivity or Bluetooth connectivity. And I can see where this could go in the future in terms of being able to then collate or collect information about individual residents. I mean, that's then got a knock-on then in terms of you have a lot of information coming in through to a contact center. It's then how you handle that, but then you're going down the routes there of looking at artificial intelligence to manage that data and to be able to then determine on where a person particularly is, whether they're stepping outside of their a normal daily activity, sort of not program, but daily sort of activity level. That sort of artificial intelligence of handling of that information coming in can then start to point you into something which is more proactive than reactive. So all of this starts to connect together once you start going down IP-based solutions such as this.
Okay, thank you very much, Sean. I see Jerry's on the screen at the moment. Do you have a question?
I do, Sean. Good morning again. Sean, you talk very much about this being an all-IP system and the fact that you'll be launching in March. I just wondered whether you would be in a position still to launch at or to demonstrate at our event on the 15th of March in Dorking, which is very much based on an all-IP system where we're working very closely with NHSX and how they are sponsoring our all IP zone. Will our members and the wider techs industry be able to see your system there as well?
15th of March, I think that could be possible, but let me go away and confirm that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity. And yes, I will look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, that's it for now. Thank you very much for your presentation and keeping to time.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I'll switch off now.
Thank you. So I can see there's some conversations on the chat and answering some of the previous questions as well. So now I'd like to move on to our next presenter. And our next presenter, you can see on screen now, is Josh Jones from Yorkley. And I'd like to hand over to Josh to start his presentation.
Thank you very much. Let me know if you can see it again.
Yes, that looks perfect. Thank you, Josh.
Perfect. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me on the call. In terms of what we're going to go through today, is very much a diluted version, should we say, for 15 minutes about Yorble. The Yorble brand itself, it really tries to look at the industry from a little bit of a different perspective, really, with a focus being on enjoying life and living it to the full, sort of hence the strapline, technology-enabled living. In terms of the problems within the sector, I think it's quite clear that we all know some of the problems that we're facing with the, especially with the analog to digital switchover, which will be completed by 2025. We have been speaking to a lot of councils and housing associations and organisations who have already had some of these exchanges switched over, and few even caught a little bit by surprise, which really just emphasises how quickly the market is moving and that plans need to be put into place, really. We've even been working with some councils on the planning and the preparation side itself to make sure that they really do have a digital roadmap in place. The ageing population as well is a very key factor, even though it may not seem as imminent as the analog to digital switchover. This is going to continually add pressure to the UK's social care and health services, with the fastest increase being to the 85 years and over bracket. This again, we feel, is going to call for smart technology to help cope with the increased demand as time goes on. And as our company is very much a software company, this allows us to be a lot more flexible and adaptable as time goes on, and the increase in need for technology to pick up that extra weight. We also feel that the legacy mindset has been a really huge factor within our sector. I mean, the sort of the lack of innovation over the last 15, 20 years really is something we feel has been holding the sector back for a long time now. I mean, from our conversations, it's also clear to see that a lot of people feel the same way. We look to change that with technology that sort of grows and develops, and what we've been doing is working very closely with the councils and housing associations that we've been speaking to really understand their pain points, really, and to really sort of look at solutions that we can implement to fix these issues. And like I said, the good thing about being a technology provider and not sort of depending on hardware is that we can be flexible. The technology is moving faster than the hardware, which allows us to adopt and add in different solutions as we move on. I've got a good few examples on that, which I'm more than happy to go into detail about with anybody separately. In terms of the Yorble solution, we're looking at this by creating the Yorble digital ecosystem, where we create a fully integrated digital system designed to replace analog telecare, health and community living systems, and even the devices that are used to support the aged and vulnerable people in both their own homes and supported living environments. We really do this by harnessing the power of big data, using our devices and the peripherals attached, using machine learning and artificial intelligence to really understand somebody's behaviours and the environment that they're in. And as even Sean mentioned, we are looking at, it's all about being more proactive instead of reactive, and be able to understand someone's behaviour and see as they're becoming more frail, or changes in the behaviours. For example, Granny Smith's getting up 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night. She used to get up once or twice to go to the bathroom. Is there something there, or is she just getting older? And there's other examples there where we can sort of interject with care plans and actions, instead of waiting until somebody has a fall and then going through sort of the rehabilitation and treatment afterwards, which as a lot of people know is a lot more costly and draining on the resources, if we can just put something in place that captures that prior to it being a real issue. Another thing that we're trying to do is really change the image of senior care. That's a really big point for us. And I often use the example of my girlfriend's grandmother. I was speaking to her about what I do, and I asked if she had something similar in terms of telecare devices, and she said that she keeps hers hidden away under the TV in a box, which she just said she hates the look of it's a big grey box with a red button, basically. She hates the way it makes her feel, and having that sort of device there is a constant reminder to her that she is getting old. So we want to try and move away from that sort of stigma around it, and that's why when you see our devices, they're very much more looking like a smart living solution that you'd see in somebody's home of all ages, really. In terms of our products and services, I'm not going to go into too much detail about every single device, but if anybody would like to speak to me afterwards, I'm more than happy to do that. In terms of where we're at the moment, we are currently in quite a few councils and housing associations trialing our Yorval Lifeline and Vita devices. The Yorval Lifeline and Vita can be on a Nokia 1.4, which is a 6.5-inch screen, which comes from our global partnership with Nokia. And the Lifeline itself is very much aggressively priced. It's easy to deploy. It's a real stepping stone into sort of digital healthcare. As I mentioned, it's built on a very much robust, reliable mobile phone handset. It's Wi-Fi connected with mobile SIM backup, should Wi-Fi not be available. It's touchscreen and voice activated as well. So for example, excuse me, get help would activate the get help functionality, which would then call through to the alarm receiving center. It's designed to be permanently powered, so this would come with a little docking station, sit on the sideboard, as most other smart home living solutions would. And it's obviously, with it being a Nokia device, it's got the battery as a power failover. It also comes with one of our Amica fall detector Bluetooth devices as standard, which is it's a fall detector. It's waterproof, and if you long hold or press, it will call through to the device to get help. The Yorval Vita is very much the same hardware in terms of the Nokia device, which also means that if somebody is becoming more frail as they get older, the same Nokia Lifeline device, the 1.4, can actually be upgraded to the Vita device. The Vita device is very much our sort of flagship device, if you like, where you can suddenly start to get a little bit more of the complex needs with the addition of peripherals, which are Bluetooth connected to the device. Given as well the fact that we are a software company, the real estate on the screen as well is completely configurable, depending on somebody's needs or wants or desires in terms of things like adding different bits of functionality in there, in terms of things like a message unread center or request a repair functionality. These are the different bits of functionality can be added in there. We've also got the Yorval tab as well. This is roadmapped to be coming out Q1 of this year, or Q2, I believe. So basically the Yorval tablet is the Lenovo 10-inch tablet, where it can be, once it's docked, it's very much the Vita device, Lifeline device in terms of the health telecare aspect. But when you take it out of the device, it's going to be a senior-friendly tablet, which will have access to things like social platforms, TV, and it's really looking at something to battle isolation and the digital inclusive aspect as well. Another project that we've got roadmapped for later this year is the Yorval phone. after having a couple of conversations around the Yawble Lifeline, it looks like a mobile phone. It is based on a mobile phone. Why can't we use it as a mobile phone? So we've took that on board and looked at what we can do in terms of making that, when it's docked and in the home, it's a Lifeline device. But then when you take it out, it can be used as a senior-friendly mobile phone. We've also got a broad range of wearables as well. Like I mentioned, some of them in terms of the Yawble Amica Basic, that will come with our Lifeline and Vita devices. Some of the other are standalone devices, even a smartwatch with two-way calling. We've also got the Yawble sensors as well, which is a constantly growing range of sensors, including sort of things like the innovation from Via Home, which looks at mapping out and sort of using Wi-Fi radar system to really place around the home or dwelling, and really provides that valuable data of the user's well-being and the activity and their environment as a whole. We also got our Yawble Community Living solution, which again comes from our Yawble digital ecosystem, where you've got everything under one roof. We're actually looking at doing this with a couple of councils, looking at building the home of the future, if you like. In terms of having integration from Wi-Fi connectivity, door entry systems, your Yawble hub, which is wall mounted on the AccuVox system with our technology built in there. And when we're looking at it from a perspective of things like the Vita and the information that we can capture, we've got the Yawble Analytics side of it, where it's built in the secure Microsoft Azure cloud and leveraging the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, and the predictive analytics. And this really provides a graphical view and collection of that data to easily use and readily accessible format for somebody to see how somebody's environment and behaviors are changing over time, and how they're really doing. And it really gives a focus to the caring staff of who is of higher priority to speak to, and who is very happy to be left alone. In terms of who we're working with and in partnership, we've been doing a really great deal amount with the Health Tech Accelerator in the Surrey Heartlands Health and Care Partnership with Kent, Surrey and Sussex Academic Health Science Network and NHSX and the Surrey and Borders Partnership. We're actually in the University of Surrey and building the care home of the future, so to speak, or the apartment of the future. As you can see from our technology partners, we've got global partnership deals with Lenovo and Nokia, using things like the AccuVox, the Ruby system for the tags. We're working and in partnership with UMO. We're certified on their platform as well, and ARC resellers and partners as well. So we're working very closely with Astroline. So all our devices connect to an alarm receiving center. And for example, if somebody doesn't have an alarm receiving center, or it's B2C side of it, then we can connect them to our Astroline partner as well. All the information and the data is very much kept within the UK, and is why we're a Microsoft partner on that side. And in terms of the front end development and the configuration of the website of this sort of application, that's AWS. And as mentioned, in terms of the roadmap, we're looking at the initial Yawble commercial launch, Yawble Lifeline on the Nokia 1.4, the Yawble Vita on the same, and the Lenovo M10, the Yawble Amica Basic wearable fall detector, and the Yawble Analytics system. We also have a new website coming up very shortly. We can have a little sneak preview, and commencing work with the Health Tech Accelerator. And as I mentioned, later down in the year, we're looking at new product launches, the Yawble sensors, the Amica Go, Amica Watch, Yawble Analytics Advanced, and new product launches even further down the line, the Yawble tablet, the Yawble phone, the smart community living solutions, and integration with Alexa and Google Assistant. We've also got the new digital health capabilities, enhanced analytics, further integrations with health and social services, and we begin expansion to overseas markets. Yeah, I think I'll a good place to end it there. And like I mentioned, there's a lot more information in terms of going into more depth about each product and service, where we're currently at in terms of trialing with councils and housing associations and alarm receiving centres. We're looking at testing with and getting on board with as many alarm receiving centres as we can, and yeah, looking to build from there and working closely with these councils and housing associations to really understand any pain points in particular that those guys are feeling and what we can do to add value and increase their productivity through technology.
Thank you very much, Josh. There's a lot of information to relay and go through there.
Yes.
As Josh said, we will share his contact details with you after this event. So if you do have any questions, you will have the information to send it directly to Josh. So for now, thank you very much, Josh.
Thank you.
So now I'd like to move on to our next presenter. And our next presenter is Emily White. Emily White is from ChipTech. I'd like to welcome ChipTech back to UKTelehealthcare as a member. And I see Emily has started a video. If you could start your presentation, please.
Hi, Terence. Thanks very much. I shall get my screen up for you now. Can you just confirm that you can see that for me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Thanks very much. Well, as Terence said, thanks very much for having us back at UKTelehealthcare. We saw such amazing events last year through COVID. It's an absolute delight to be back presenting to you today. So my name's Emily White and I'm the Business Development Manager here at ChipTech. I had the delight of joining right back at the start and have seen some amazing development over the past 2 years and have had the pleasure of working with some amazing partners that I'll introduce to you later. And it's been fantastic to see some local authorities as well make the move over to digital. For those of you who aren't too sure about ChipTech, I will introduce us to you in a moment or so. But just to outline here, what I aim to kind of present to you today is our products, of course. I will give you a brief introduction into those. However, I'm more interested to give you an insight into how we work, how we support our customers, most importantly through that individualized journey to digital. And hopefully you'll be able to get a bit of an insight into how we approach customer support and how we see our customers as more of an extension to our internal team rather than an arm's length supplier. And that's what I really want to try and get over to you today. So first things first, a little bit of an introduction to ChipTech. So we started off actually back over in New Zealand in 2000, and we've innovated and grown over the past 20 plus years to become digital experts with over 30,000 digital units out in the field around the world. Now, the reason you may not have heard of us before in the UK here is that we actually set up here back in 2019. And this was really to align that with the growth of digital in this market and bring mature and carefully designed digital products to the UK. And as I said earlier, with a fresh approach to customer service and digital transition. So as a company, we own the IP of our devices, and these have been manufactured and developed over with the New Zealand team. And this research and development team that we have is very much focused on developing what the end service user truly needs to enhance their independence. And I'll introduce you to an example of this later on called the ChipTech Go. And as you can see at the bottom there, we're really proud to be the only digital products currently endorsed through Age UK. And in total, we now have around 19,000 digital units out in the UK market. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an overview into us. And here I would just like to show you some of our current partners and customers that we work with, alongside some quotations there, just to kind of back up what I'm saying in regards to that attitude towards customer service. And as the team mentioned earlier, these slides will be shared with you later on. So please do have a read through and get in contact with me if you have any questions. Now, something that is a bit of a buzzword in the industry at the moment is around interoperability, and it's something we really care about and something that we're working really hard on with steering groups and that sort of thing to make sure that service providers have a wide range of choice and ultimately can provide what they consider to be best in class. So as you can see here on my slide, we've fully integrated into all major monitoring systems in the UK, such as UMO, Jontech, and Apello CareNat. And we also offer the Tunstall Go device through Tunstall for PNC customers also. We offer a range of SIM options, as you would expect, to give you the flexibility in your system. And just in addition to that, we offer a few different billing methods as well to help you deal with the differences that digital brings in regards to that. Now, with our health monitoring, we work alongside AlertIt, who offer best-in-class epilepsy and health systems. And then we've got some other partners as well, such as Firehawk and ACO, that assist you in your environmental sensors. Something I won't touch on too much in this presentation today, but please do give me a call if it's something you're interested in further, is digital housing solutions. There is an opportunity here to kind of shift and innovate and switch slightly more towards a modular system. And we work with partners such as Alertical and Alcove to offer these sorts of innovative changes to your housing system. So if that's something you're interested in, I can talk to you about that later on. Now, when it comes to our products, we've got two main products that I'll talk you through today. But I'd like to introduce these to you less around the features and more around how they affect your service and how they can enhance your service efficiencies and that sort of thing. So our EVA alarm is our digital dispersed alarm unit. And we've got probably around 15,000 of these out in the UK at the moment, working digitally and predominantly on Scape. And the features here, one of the main ones I'd like to talk to you about is the voice guided installation. So within the unit, there's a really large voice file, and this aims to talk you through installation to help with governance. And this can be in two quite different contexts. So firstly, for family and friends installing, this has been really helpful during COVID, of course, that because the alarm actually talks you through the process, you as an individual have a lot more confidence that you're doing things right and that the sailor signal's good and that you've tested the range of your pendant. So it just adds a lot more confidence to that installation process for someone who's not used to doing it. But in addition, with digital, units are different. The installation procedure is different. And it can take time as a team of installers to get you used to how to install these alarms and have the confidence that you've developed over the past, say, 15 years of installing analog alarms. So by having this voice guided setup option, it allows you to have that guidance, potentially just for your first few installations, so that you can get used to the equipment and feel a lot more confident with it. In addition to this, we've got a 300-meter pendant range, which is absolutely fantastic for those service users with larger houses and gardens. And really importantly, our pendants have both a transceiver and a receiver, meaning that when you go to the end of the garden and you press that pendant, if it flashes red, that is a successful pendant range test. So there's no need to ask someone to count at the base unit or anything like that. In regards to efficiencies, which I know is a bit of a hot topic at the moment with the additional stress and financial burden that digital can bring, one service that we provide free of charge is that we pre-configure, pre-program, pre-test all of your units before they get dispatched to you. So what this means is that when your delivery arrives, those units are ready, tested, and ready to go out to installation. We can even apply specific IDs for you that matches up with what's been set up on your monitoring system. And in this sense, we work as almost the first stage of your installation process, which can really help reduce strain on resources for installers at the moment. And one additional feature that we really like to do is to brand up units. So I have an example here, if you can see it, which is for Mole Valley. So you can see here, we will do the branding for you and we will brand up your units before we dispatch them. So they're a bit more personalized for your customers. Of course, there are some other features there, such as a 70-hour battery backup, but the flyer that I've sent out to the wonderful team at UKTelehealthcare outlines all of this for you. And if you are interested in a full demonstration and introduction, then please do let me know. So I mentioned earlier about this person-centered innovation, and the Go really is kind of at the heart of this. And the way that Go was designed completely was based on service user feedback. So there were three things that we were consistently asked, which was, one, why can't I take my pendant down the shops? Number two, they kept getting their pendant and you try and talk through your pendant. So why can't I do that? And then thirdly, why does this pendant make me feel old? And this is something that Josh touched upon earlier, actually, around the stigma that some telecare devices can give. And we really wanted to combat that with the Go device. So the way this is done is through GPS, of course. So with the use of GPS, you can take that pendant anywhere with you, with that reassurance of 24/7 support. Now, talking through your pendant has both benefits for the service user and as a service delivery company as well, in regards to reducing no response and providing service users with more confidence in the equipment, as they can have that reassurance in a state of alarm that someone's received the alarm and someone can talk them through the next steps. And then finally, stigma. As I've said, this is something that really plays a key part in all of our research and development. And I hope you agree that the Go device is quite smart and sleek in its design. And the way we try to make this universal is we actually use this device in many different contexts. So for elderly vulnerable, for those suffering with domestic violence, for lone workers, for just, me, myself and I really, I have one of these on my keys, just in case I'm on my own and I feel a little bit nervous. There's a wonderful video by Blue Force who sell the Go over in Australia. And I always use this to kind of break down that stigma, in the sense that it's a young nurse wearing her Go. She goes out for an early morning walk, and then she goes to work later on, and she's commissioning that same personal safety device that she's wearing to an elderly gentleman that's being discharged from hospital. And I think that universal design for the pendant can really help to break down those stigmas and hopefully increase uptake of these sorts of personal alarms. With the Go, as I mentioned there's many other features such as fall detection, a 1 to 2 month battery life. It's IP67 water resistant, so you can wear it in the shower. And of course, if you would like to trial the device or find out any more, then please do let me know and I can talk you through all the features. The universal feature of this equipment expands beyond the use and who is using it, but also we identified this gap of there are GPS pendants and there are home alarms. But that means that you wear one pendant when you leave the house and you only have to change it when you get home. So what we've done is we've put the same radio technology that's in a standard pendant, and we've put that within our Go device, which means you compare those two devices together. Now, with this scenario, you can see here, this is Helen. You can see that she's at home, she's wearing her Go device, she's got her Eva base unit there, and potentially some other peripherals such as smoke alarms, bed mats. And if she presses that pendant, say she's in the shower and she's had a fall and maybe it's detected the fall, or maybe she's just pressed the pendant because she's feeling unwell. What the device does is it scans the networks and it says, my signal's really good, I'm in range of the base unit, my Go device will send the alarm and she'll then have communication with the operator. If, however, say Helen's down in the basement and she's feeling unwell and there's no cellular signal down there, there's the logic that the Go will then let the base unit know that there's been an alarm and the base unit will deal with the alarm. So there's redundancy there, providing really good reassurance to someone that with a comprehensive system of telecare, the GPS device, and a standard pendant if you desire, you can use this system as one comprehensive system on its own as a really simple solution. And as you can see there, Helen's also wearing it down the park as well. This is just a brief slide on the BS 8484 compliance of Go. So it can be used as a lone worker device also, using vibrations rather than noise to confirm statuses of alarms. So it's quite universal in that sense as well. Finally, our Smart Care Response app. So this can be used as an alternative or as an add-on to a monitoring provider. So this app can be used in two main contexts. Firstly, for family and friends, of course, if you would like that more local monitoring, but also to help support with a more modular system to housing. So this can actually be used in a ward and call scenario to provide a more cost-effective alternative to hardwiring. You can use any phone, it's on both the iOS and the Play Store, and you can download the app, pair up your devices and get all the same reporting that you would do through to a monitoring centre. And I'll just flick through these slides here. This is just to show you the other telecare that we offer, but I've primarily put that there just to give you the opportunity to peruse through that when the slides get sent out to you. But in summary, thanks for joining us today and listening to my presentation. And if you're at all interested in learning any more about digital or our service and solutions in particular, then please do let me know. Thanks, Terence.
Thank you very much, Emily. We will share your details after this event, and I'm sure you will be getting a flow of questions coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now I'd like to move on to our final presentation, and thank you to Tracy, Rees and Carium for stepping in at the last moment to fill a vacant slot. Apologies for the change in the agenda. Mediquip were unable to present today, but thank you, Tracy. If you could start your presentation, please.
Yeah. Okay, can you confirm you can see that?
I can, thank you, Tracy.
Brilliant, thank you. So I'm Tracy Rees and I work for Carium. I'm the newest key account manager within the team. So if there are any questions later on that I can't answer, I will find out and get back to you with it. So apologies because I only started late last year, but I have worked in the tech field for the last 14 years. And I'm also an alumni of the PGC from the University of Cumbria, which I believe is doing a presentation later on as well. So who is Carium? So you may know Carium better as Doro. We were Doro for many years. Lots of people have been wondering why we've decided to rebrand as Carium. And the main reason for the rebrand was that we had two sides of our business. We had our phones, our easy use phones, and we also had our technology-enabled care side. And there was a bit of confusion between clients on what we actually did. So we decided to split it into two. So technology-enabled care now comes under Carium, but we are the same business, the same people. So Carium originated in Sweden. Sweden is the main originator where our head office is. We're a market leader in Northern Europe. So we've been in the business for over 40 years. We have over 300,000 digital social alarms sold and installed across over Europe. We do have our own alarm receiving centres. We've got 6 over between Sweden, Norway and the UK. And there's 375,000 service users connected to our alarm receiving centres. So between all of them, we tend to take about 30,000 calls a day. So we're quite big in that respect. If you haven't heard of us before, not to worry, we are a big business. So Carium is dedicated in designing and innovating the business. Our current market has been quite reactive, as it were, but we are starting to change that model. So the demographic is starting to change. We've got an older population. There's a growing need for care in society. We've seen since the pandemic, there's been a big issue with not able to get carers in. Staff retention and things like that have been an issue for lots of authorities and health boards, as it were. So that is driving this new flow then of innovation and technologies. So technology-enabled care, as I'm sure you're fully aware, can help with cost savings, help inform families, enable people to sort of live more independently, as it is with all the other manufacturers out there. Our current market is responsive, but I would like to iterate that because we do develop and innovate our own products, we do have our own team that is currently working on predictive, proactive, and preventive innovations. So we are looking at AI and things like that. So even though our current offer may be responsive, just to rest assured that it is in the pipeline and it is on our roadmap and it is going to be released soon. So the current market's been very analog, standalone systems, and now everything is going digital. And because of that, Carium decided to take the decision to stop creating any analog alarms. So all of our alarms are now digital. As the digital transformation has already begun, BT stopped installing landlines as of 2020. And of course, by 2025, they wanted the transformation to be completed. So I know there is a big push at the moment for everybody to get digital and to transfer from their analog systems over to digital. We have done it already out in Sweden. That happened a few years ago. So we've already gone through the transition. So we do know the issues and the pitfalls that are going to come up because our main company has already seen that happen. The good thing about digital is that it opens up a world for other things, like other ways of connecting, your Wi-Fi's, your IPs, Bluetooth connectivities, and things like remote programming, so that you don't have to physically spend on an installer going out. You can do remote programming, maybe program in a device and post it out. So it does open doors for other things as well. So we have our iCare online platform, and that can be accessed from anywhere. As long as you've got broadband, you're able to get onto the internet. So you could do it on your work laptop, you could do it on your tablet, you could do it on a phone. As long as you've got access to the internet, you would be able to get on and program units, have a look at units, see what you've got, see what you haven't got. You can do diagnostics in there. So that's a really innovative thing that's coming in with all the market at the moment. So with our portfolio, we do social alarms, we do mobile social alarms. We also offer remote supervision. We do alarms for personal and home safety. And of course, we have our own alarm receiving centres. So we are a full service. We do offer a full field operatives then. So we have our own field operatives, we have our own response service. So it is sort of a big, well-rounded organisation. So we have a few digital social alarms. So the one we have in the top corner won a design award in 2020. That's our ELISA unit. So that unit works on 2G, 3G, 4G, and that is our future-proof. It has the Bluetooth in it, it has the Zigbee. So when new alarms are being developed, we can then link it into that system because it's already got different configurations already built into it. We are releasing this year the ELISA S. So the ELISA S will have the same internal configuration as our ELISA, but it is more streamlined, it's thinner, and it can be wall mounted. So we took some feedback that we had from some organizations who wanted to be able to still wall mount the device, but they still wanted to have the full functions of the ELISA. So we have created the ELISA S, so that will be coming out later on within the year. So we also have our Care IPs and a Care IP mobile. They look the same and they come in graphite or in white. So with our Care IP mobile, the good thing about that is if you haven't already gone digital with your monitoring centre, it can still work in an analog function. So it can link to an analog call centre through those protocols if you needed that. And then when your call centre would upgrades to digital, it can then swap over and work digitally. So it'll still work for the older market, but it can work for the future market. We can transfer the programming over into digital. So our Care Mobile, that is just a mobile device. So that only works digitally. So we do have our Enzo pendant. So we have a black and grey design to make it sort of more attractive to the market. So we had a lot of feedback that people preferred it that way. It does have a long range on it. It does also have 300 meters in a direct line of sight. Obviously, when you've got a big building and you've got walls, that can be reduced. So we do always suggest doing test calls. It does now have a new function that's only just been integrated, and that's transport mode. Before, the pendant used to have the battery and it was live. And if you had it on a shelf in the warehouse, for example, that battery would automatically be draining. But now with the standby mode, it won't be using up any battery. And when you do go and have it installed for the first time, if you just hold the button down for a couple of seconds, it wakes up out of transit mode and ready to use. So that's a good function to stop the wastage of battery when not in use. So we have 2 social, mobile and GPS alarms. So we've got our Carium 480. This has been around for many years. It's a watch-based GPS system. And we've been using this for many years for people maybe with dementia, going out to track if they're lost and things like that. And it does have a strap that you can put on there with a lock that's lockable, so they're unable to take it off, for example. But we did have a lot of feedback about the design, that people, it's quite bulky and people were not so keen on it. Some people love it, some people don't. It's the same with everything, I guess. But we are bringing a new version out soon. So the watch is going to look more like a normal watch, as people have put it. We'll have it in black and we'll have it in rose gold, because I know some ladies wanted sort of a feminine colour. So that is on our roadmap, and that hopefully will be coming out this year. And we've got our Carium 450. This is our newest alarm for working mobily. It is IP67, so it is shower proof. So if someone wanted to use it within the home and they were in the shower, it would still work. Or if they were out going for a jog and they had a big downpour, it's fine. It's going to work, no problem. It is a UMO certified device as well. And so a little bit more about the device. So with the device, how it tracks, it uses GPS, it uses Wi-Fi, and it also uses the beacon. So the beacon is actually the little cradle that it sits in that charges it up as well. It does do fall detection, and there's 2 settings. So you can change the setting depending on the client and what their needs were. It does have a speakerphone on it, so you can talk through it. And there is a geofence. You can geofence what area is safe for that particular person. And if they go out to that area, you'll know it'll set through an alarm. The battery will last up to 10 days, but with active use, for example, for about 8 hours a day, is about 4 to 5. But it does have a very fast charge on there. If you put it in the little docking station, it charges up fully within 2.5 hours. And it also does step counting as well. So that's just a little bit of showing how it looks at the positioning. So through the iCare online portal, you can go on there, and there you'll be able to see the battery status. You'll be able to see the signal strength to the unit. You'll be able to look at the positioning, where someone has been, and you'll be able to look at their step counter as well. And that's just an example there of somebody's steps. We are also planning to come out with an app. Even though you can access iCare online anywhere, some people wanted to make it easier with an app. So that is in development currently. So we do the traditional alarms. We have our home security alarms, which I've got an example of some of them. That's not the whole package, but just a small example there. What we are coming out with soon as well, just to meet the new law in Scotland. So there's a new law starting this year, where carbon monoxide alarms and heat detectors need to interlink. So if one goes off, the others need to go off. And that is because of the Greenfell incident. And we have actually designed them, and they will be released soon to our market. And then again, we have our traditional personal alarms, medication dispensing, epilepsy, falls. We also do the bed sensors, door sensors, and an array of things. And if you'd like to know more about what we do have available, if you want to get in contact with me, and I will happily go through our full portfolio. So something else we have is remote supervision and visual checks. So this is used a lot over with our company in Sweden. So a lot of authorities have stopped the through the night care. I know for a local authority I used to work for, through the night care was taken away. But obviously there was a concern about those clients who are no longer having those checks. So this system was created. So the visit camera is not always on. I know a lot of people are concerned that, oh, somebody's going to watch me all the time. That is not the case. The camera would only look at the client at a set time that's already been agreed sort of with the client, with the family, and just like a safety net that if there was anything wrong, it would come on and they could talk through that as well. So that is just a safety feature that maybe hasn't been used so much over here in the UK. But I do think there is a possibility some authorities may want this type of system, but it is proven to be working successfully over in Sweden. So we do also do specialist alarms for people who have severe physical disabilities. So maybe people who may have paralysis in certain areas, or motor neuron, for example, or severe MS, who may not be able to use your traditional button feature. We do have the Pico button, which is there, which can be placed anywhere. So they could maybe use their cheek, maybe use an elbow or foot, make it easier for them. Or if someone's got complete paralysis from the neck down, we have in the corner there, we've got a blow switch and a ping pong switch. So one of them would work with the arm coming in front of the client, and they could just blow on it and that would activate to call for help. And the other one is attached with the head onto the little ping pong ball that's on the end of the device. And we've also got the voice alarm, so that if they could only just make a noise and speak, we could use that alarm to call for help. So that's for sort of additional needs then. So as I've mentioned, we have our own alarm receiving centre, and we will do the full wraparound service if that is what's needed for you. So here we have some testimonials from people such as carers, dementia, diabetes. And if you want to read more about our testimony, I've got lots of case studies. Here we've got some case studies from Sweden about different devices that have worked well for them over there. And I can give you a more in-depth sort of introduction and description of those if needed at a later date. And that's it from me. Thank you very much. Hopefully I can answer any questions that have come up.
Thank you, Tracy. No questions at the moment, but thank you for that clarification on Carium, the information on the services and products. For now, thank you very much for stepping in and doing this presentation. Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So thank you. I'd like to say thank you to Sean, Josh, Emily, and Tracy for their presentations. All their presentations will be available on our website, and their contact details will be shared after this event. That ends the first section of this event. And now I'd like to hand over to Jerry to start the next session, which is on the training update.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Terence. What we'll do is go directly into the presentation from Melanie Poser of Disabled Living Foundation. It's a recorded presentation of about 20 minutes, and that'll be followed by the presentation from Karen Morris from the University of Cumbria. And given that we have some time after that, we will take any questions regarding the training. So we're running quite short on time, so I will move on and I will share the Disabled Living Foundation's presentation with you now.
Good morning and welcome to DLF's update presentation. My name is Melanie Poyser and I'm the Partnership Manager for London and the South East of England and Special Project Lead. This morning I'm going to update you on the work we've been doing around our tools, Living Made Easy, our Aksara, ProAssist and our Trusted Assessor Telecare course. DLF's main focus as a charity has been to ensure those with a disability are able to live safe and independently and lead a quality life by accessing information and advice about appropriate equipment solutions. Over the past 50 years that we've been up and running, we've endeavoured to not only be responsive to the needs of the disabled community, but to innovate by developing tools for the public, professionals, and the assistive technology industry. DLF want to enable independent living by focusing on the person beyond the disability. Over the past few years, we've consulted with our stakeholders and sought to ensure our services and tools are relevant and continue to provide the necessary support for better outcomes. So how have we responded? We've redesigned both the front and back end components of our tools to ensure an improved user experience and deliver even more of a quality service. As a result, this is translated into the development of new courses and tools. And the implementation of those tools over the past 3 years, certainly since the pandemic, have been invaluable. They've been necessary and relevant as services have had to adapt to meet more complex needs. So the areas I'm going to speak about today are those very tools. Living Made Easy, which forms both the public programme and also holds our product information. ProAssist, our latest clinical prescribing tool for professionals. Aksara, our online assessment tool for the public. And our latest Trusted Assessor course, assessing the telecare solutions. The general public can now access our newly redesigned Living Made Easy website with its easier layout for better navigation, which will lead to more appropriate advice and solutions. We want our site to be as informative as possible, and our hints and tips, top picks, and user stories help to demonstrate the difference that assistive technology can make in everyday life. As mentioned, Aksara is part of Living Made Easy programme to the public. This self-assessment tool has truly come into its own with demand for assessments rising within local authorities. Limited resources and restrictions on home visits has prompted local authorities to rethink how they deliver their information, advice and assessment provision. We redesigned the existing version to provide a much better experience and fulfil this statutory obligation. As part of our ongoing development programme, we have invested in flexible technology, meaning wider integration of Aksara's information assets. Usage on mobile devices is increasing and more professionals use it as part of their needs assessment with service users. As local authorities become more ambitious with their service delivery plans, we're not only providing more support, but Aksara's adaptability is also being recognised. Aksara enables the user to be empowered with choice about what their care can look like beyond, in many cases, what is offered to them by the local authority. By providing a platform to the market, we're able to showcase a wide range of products and offer impartial advice about suitable solutions. Aksara is available under license and can be customized to not only become an integrated part of your services, but reflects the uniqueness of your locality. As a local authority, you can signpost your service users to not only products, but also services within your locality. And as a business, you have the opportunity to use Aksara to assess your customers, linking them to solutions within your own product range. So how does Aksara work? You pick from one of 90 topics. You answer questions which have been written by professionals and occupational therapists. And then you get a report which provides you with information about products and advice to the issues you've identified. The topics range from common daily activities, including household chores, bathing and toileting, and personal care, as well as areas that make the individual who they are, gardening, hobbies, and leisure. Health and well-being is also a category area with a focus on memory and mood, which I'm going to speak a bit more about in a moment, but also sensory impairment and medication management. And there's also a section for children's needs. So having selected memory and mood, we can delve deeper and select specific areas of concern. We then start our survey. You are asked a series of questions all relating to the area that you've chosen. Once completed, we provide a disclaimer, advice, and access to your report. When you view your report, you are given advice and signposted to a range of products appropriate to your needs. You can view the product ranges and find out further details and can be directed to the retailer, so a purchase can be made directly with them. From our research, we know that the majority of those visiting ARC-SARA are often informal carers, looking on behalf of someone they care for. Self-funders with an intention to buy in the future. ARC-SARA is our tool for the public. And for the professionals, we've developed ProAssist. ProAssist is essentially an online resource of products, enabling the professional to identify solutions, provide clinical justification for equipment for older and disabled people. The evolution of ProAssist has been a progress that has taken over 50 years. We recognised very early on in our journey that professionals needed access to information about products. So we started with paper bulletins, which developed into the renowned Hamilton Index. In the 1980s, we moved from paper to CDs and then to online via DLF data. DLF data had served us for decades, but we saw that more needed to be done. And under consultation, we developed not just another product, but one which would also build a community of best practice.
Welcome to ProAssist, DLF's latest tool from the DLF for Professionals suite. DLF ProAssist continues the legacy started by the Hamilton Index 34 years ago and provides you with an impartial hub of information and advice to aid reasoning and equipment provision. DLF ProAssist is built on years of experience evolved from our previous tool, DLF Data, along with focus sessions and interviews with practitioners and prescribers to ensure a system that is familiar and supports clinical reasoning. The tool requires a login so that the system can save useful information on your activity, ready for your next visit. This means that each account will be unique to the person and should not be shared. Upon logging in, you will find a simple, clean, and easy to navigate homepage. The menu structure is designed using ISO classifications based on functional need. A prescriber simply chooses a category closest to the needs of the client and is given a number of solution options that may be relevant to that need. Once you land on a category page, a brief summary on the product type can be found. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will see a section for supporting evidence. This evidence can be anything from useful information and advice through to research based on the category. These are designed to assist with product choice. On the left of the screen, you will see some filters. These filters are designed to assist the user to find products more efficiently and guide those that are unsure to the correct options. The tool draws from a database of over 12,000 current products. The database also holds 40,000 archived products. By selecting this box, the user will now see all archived products and current products based in that category. This can be useful if you find products in a client's home and are unsure about the use or specifications. Once you have selected a product, you will land on the product page. Here, you'll find a product picture and description and a useful product required box to help prompt the prescriber of any products that might be required when using this solution. To assist the prescriber to consider other solution options, there is a handy Related Solutions section. This lists other relevant products. You will also find a section listing compatible solutions that will work with this product. When you scroll down, you'll find some further useful information. A section related to manufacturer information, including any product manuals, images and videos, and features and dimensions of the product. Selecting clinical observations shows you any clinical observation by a contributor to the site. This can be any other subscriber of the service. Clinical observations are designed to help give you useful information from other practitioners who have used the product in the past. Here, on this pre-populated form, it will ask the practitioner about the situation the product was used, what they observed, and what the outcome was for their client. Anybody can submit these. There is also a handy section for questions and answers, and anyone can ask any questions on the product, and anybody can provide an answer. And lastly, there's a section for supporting information and supporting evidence. This information might be research, useful tools to help with this product, or any other videos or reviews that might be useful in assisting a practitioner to choose this type of product. Lastly, when you scroll down, you'll see a list of national retailers you can purchase this product from. Navigating back to the home page, you will find that your last viewed products are listed here, and a list of any new resources, which might be supporting information or questions and answers, are listed on the left. Scroll further down and you'll find the latest MHRA notifications, CPD opportunities from around the industry, and some useful industry-related news. To avoid duplication and to limit workloads, there's also a handy reporting tool. You can choose any template, such as equipment recommendations to give to your customers, a clinical justification to help justify a product solution, a customer care plan to leave for carers, a prescription record to upload to your own site, or a CPD report to show what you've learned from the site. Once you've completed your report, it is saved onto your account. You can then return to the reports and update as required. Taking this example of an equipment recommendation, you can see that the assessor's name and details can be entered at the top. You can complete an outcome and goal for the client, any advice, and then add products that they can purchase themselves. This will show a brief description of the product and where it can be purchased. You can also add your own comments to the form. You can add as many products as you like before exporting the report. Once the report is exported, you can then complete any client identifiable data on the report itself. DLF Pro Assist has over 12,000 current products. However, if you attend a client's home and find a product that's not available on the market now, you may wish to find out a little more about it. To do that, you can check this archive box here. ProAssist holds over 40,000 archived products that are no longer available to purchase. You can still find these. Click on them and find information. This may help you provide a like-for-like product. Lastly, ProAssist has this handy search tool. You can search for products, or if you're not sure what you need, you can search on theme. This will highlight any product to do with the theme that you have typed in. Here, you can also see any archived products in that theme. DLS ProAssist is available by subscription only. Welcome to ProAssist, DLF's latest tool from the DLF for Professionals suite. DLF ProAssist continues the legacy started by the Hamilton Index 34 years ago and provides you with an impartial hub of information and advice to aid reasoning and equipment provision. DLF ProAssist is built on years of experience evolved from our previous tool, DLF Data, along with focus sessions and interviews with practitioners and prescribers to ensure a system that is familiar and supports clinical reasoning. The tool requires a login so that the system can save useful information on your activity, ready for your next visit. This means that each account will be unique to the person and should not be shared. Upon logging in, you will find a simple, clean, and easy to navigate homepage. The menu structure is designed using ISO classifications based on functional need. A prescriber simply chooses a category closest to the needs of the client and is given a number of solution options that may be relevant to that need. Once you land on a category page, a brief summary on the product type can be found. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will see a section for supporting evidence. This evidence can be anything from useful information and advice through to research based on the category. These are designed to assist with product choice. On the left of the screen, you will see some filters. These filters are designed to assist the user to find products more efficiently and guide those that are unsure to the correct options. The tool draws from a database of over 12,000 currently products. The database also holds 40,000 archived products. By selecting this box, the user will now see all archived products and current products.
Apologies while we just fix a technical problem with that presentation. I think Jerry will be back online in a moment.
As Sharon said, we seem to have had a loop in Melanie's presentation. What I will do is the presentation will be available on the website. The last part of the presentation is around the professional tool for suppliers, which I'm sure that Janet and Julian will speak about shortly. So apologies for that, but I'm going to stop that presentation now. And I'm going to continue with our last presentation on training, and that's from Karen Morris of the University of Cumbria. So I'll ask Karen to come on. Sorry to drop you in it so quickly, Karen, apology.
It's fine. I'm a little bit anxious about making my right screen work, but never mind. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll hand you over to Karen.
Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. Does that come up?
It has indeed.
And there, you've stopped seeing my dog?
Absolutely.
Perfect, excellent. So thank you very much for asking me to come along and talk on behalf of the University of Cumbria. I feel a little bit of an imposter in this environment of high tech, and also especially as Tracy's mentioned that she's one of our wonderful alumni from this very program. So I feel that in some ways Tracy should be telling you about her experiences of the program that I'm about to tell you about. What I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about the University of Cumbria itself and the Institute of Health, which is the section of the university that this postgraduate certificate is from. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the certificate itself, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the support that's available within the university for supporting students working at master's level, because one of the strengths of the University of Cumbria is about the level of support that we're able to offer to our students. So the University of Cumbria itself is relatively new as a named university, but as you can see on this slide, it's not a young institution. It's started way back in 1822 as the Society for the Encouragement of Fine Arts at the Institute, the Cumbria Institute of the Arts, which is part of our Brampton Road campus, and also part of the St Martin's College, which was established in 1964 as a teacher training college, and also the Charlotte Mason College, which was based at Ambleside, which I happened to see in the news the other day as celebrating an anniversary of Charlotte Mason. So as you can see, those organisations all came together to become the University of Cumbria in 2018. So we have a number of campuses. Our largest on-site campus is at Lancaster, just up the road from the main town. We have two campuses at Carlisle, Fuse Hill Street, which was originally the, again, a historic building in itself, as is the Lancaster campus. The Lancaster campus used to be an army barracks back in the day. Fuse Hill Street was the original poorhouse for Carlisle, became the city hospital, and is now our campus for our health and education students. Our Brampton Road campus is just the other side of town and is where our Institute of the Arts is based. And very excitingly, is we're now we're working with the City Council and other organisations to have a brand new campus, which is being designed and will be right next to Carlisle railway station, with the beautiful Citadel buildings that are there as the entrance to our brand new campus. We also have one, a small campus where our outdoor studies and natural sciences are based in the heart of Ambleside, so right in the middle of the Lake District. Those of you that know Ambleside, you'll know that there's a little mini roundabout just on the edge of the main shopping area there. That is exactly where our Ambleside campus is based, so you couldn't get much more central to the Lake District there. Staying up in Cumbria, we have a small campus out on the west coast at Workington, near the Energist area. So that supports some of our West Cumbria students. And we also have a further campus down at Barrow, which is right in the northeast corner of Cumbria, those of you that don't know it. And that supports some of our health students and education students that are based down in that area, and also has quite a lot of business students based down there as well, and close contacts with BAE Systems, which is based in that area. We also have, surprisingly enough, as a bit of a legacy from the old St Martin's Teacher Training College, is we have a campus at Tower Hamlets in London, where we have education students and health students. So as you can see, and in addition to these face-to-face physical campuses, we also have quite a large online presence. So our paramedic programs, for example, are largely distributed throughout the paramedic services within England, rather than all the students being based on our campus. So we're based, the academic areas are blocked down into what we call institutes. So like I said, we've got the arts, we've got business, industry and leadership, education, health, which is actually the biggest institute within the university, and science, natural resources and outdoor studies. So the postgraduate certificate in digital health that I'm talking about today is based within the Institute of Health. And as you can see there, we offer a wide range of programs within that area. So lots of pre-registration programs for the NHS and social care areas, but also we have a big area of CPD and health leadership. Cool. So the PG Cert in digital health, and when you get a copy of these slides, it is actually a hyperlink at the top where you can just click on the hyperlink to get more information about the program. So it's an online master's level program, validated 4 years ago now. And we used to teach a different style of program for digital health, and this is the new version of that program. The whole idea of the program is to support practitioners to plan, implement and evaluate work-based digital health innovations. We've heard from the other presentations this morning that the amazing range of resources and technologies that are available to both practitioners and service end users. But the idea of this program is to do a bit more of the so what and the hows. So it's, as we move into, I'll tell you a little bit about the modules in a minute. It's about what we've got, all these digital health opportunities, but how can we make that work as best as possible within our particular service? So what we do is work-based around someone's own area of practice. So people that are coming onto the program do need to have an idea for some sort of project in order to be that's going to be useful within their own area of practice, and then that will become the focus throughout the modules. Okay, so there's 2 modules and it's all distance learning, and one of the slight silver linings of the pandemic is that the quality of the online learning resources has multiplied across the university sector. So we now have access to things. We obviously have Teams. We're on a Zoom call now. We have online resources within all the different programs, so we can easily collaborate and work with people across the UK and internationally. So there's 2 modules within this PG Cert. There's a small module, 20 credit module that starts the program, and then there's a 40 credit module. So the first module is, as the title says there, use of technology in health and care. So what you're doing there is you're looking at an in-depth and critical understanding of all the different factors associated with using digital health technologies. So it's looking at things like the drivers and enablers of digital innovation in health and care contexts. It's looking at the barriers and challenges associated with innovation within the health and social care settings. It's looking at ethics and risks around using digital technology. And it's helping to come up with a reasoned justification for making a digital health change and doing the project that's going to become the focus of the second module, and helping people to critically reflect on how digital health is changing practice and professional accountability. Students then move on to the second module, which is the work-based project, and that is entirely focused around your area of practice. So it's the students that do this module are looking at designing and scoping a digital health project that's going to be suitable for implementation within your area of practice. It's looking at the organisational enablers, challenges and processes associated with that project, critically discussing with your peers on the programme to come up with an implementation plan for that project, and also alongside that, a robust evaluation strategy for that project, because it's all very well setting up something that's new and exciting, but you need the evidence to prove that it's new and exciting, and then help you synthesize key outcomes and learning about that project. So hopefully this is the beginning of your working at this level, if you've not worked at master's level before, but also it's a way of then moving forward within your own practice to ensure that you implement these and follow these ideas through all your future projects. So one of the questions we often get asked is, why study at master's level? The Quality Assurance Agency for Higher Education set the rules around what master's level is, but a master's level study allows people to focus on a particular aspect of a broad subject area and go into that in quite an in-depth level. And it also helps people understand research and become more specialized and therefore more employable within their area of practice, and also help contribute to the evidence base of that area of practice. For quite a lot of people, studying at master's level is a daunting prospect. So what we have alongside all our master's programs is a preparing for postgraduate study program. Okay, and that helps people understand the difference between working at undergraduate and postgraduate level. It helps people begin to understand what we mean by critical approach to thinking and synthesis of information. And it's a really good underpinning to help people build their confidence before they start their programs. We do encourage all our students, especially those that haven't studied for a little while, to do one of our preparing programs before they start the program. Okay. So when people have successfully finished the PG Cert in Digital Health, that may be the end of their journey. Maybe all they want to do, but you can also build that into a postgraduate diploma or a full master's program. So there's a couple of links on there to show you how you can build a bespoke master's program that again helps you apply the theory that you learn through the university program into your own practice. So then hopefully that helps embed really good theory into practice, but also helps people to gain access to these sorts of programs, because employers can see what you're able to do, and also how this level of work and these sorts of projects can benefit the business itself. So I'll pause there. If there's any questions, I can try taking those as part of the panel in a minute, but I've put a couple of links on the end of the slides here to the actual program, and also any queries about admissions criteria. There's an email there to the postgraduate admissions link.
Thank you very much, Karen. Could I ask Janet and Julian to join us now, please? So first of all, apologies that we didn't see the end of Melanie's very professional recorded presentation, but I think the problem was we've got a presentation within a presentation, and once it looped, we couldn't get out of it. Janet, did you want to add anything about the last module of the presentation for our delegates before we...
Yes, please, Jerry, that would be lovely. Thank you so much. Just a couple of comments. It was ironic, actually. We were just reaching the denouement of the presentation in terms of how can manufacturers and retailers get involved with us in terms of sharing their product details, both for the public and prescribers. And just quickly to mention that we have a vendor portal that those organisations can engage with to share their product details. And that way, therefore, their products will be shared within both our Living Made Easy work for the public, which around 2 million people a year view that, and then also through the DLF Pro Assist prescribing tool, which we got stuck in a loop of, unfortunately, but hopefully folks saw that that was the way that assessors and prescribers can find out about solutions. We also had a quick couple of slides talking about the other end of the spectrum from Karen's work, which is our level 3 trusted assessor course, which is trusted assessor assessing for tech solutions, which is a course that we're providing now fully online and is popular with a range of roles, really, you know, within health, social care, housing, and so on, folks who are interested in having that level of confidence in assessing for tech solutions as part of their work. So we're really pleased to be partnering with UKTelehealthcare in our training provision. It's all very much designed to be impartial and independently based, and really looks to upskill people in the area of assessing so that they have that confidence to really prescribe you know, tech solutions with confidence. And that's really our goal, because if we can train more people, then more older and disabled people can get access to suitable solutions, and that's kind of what we're all about as a charity. During 2021, just to let people know, we trained around 800 people as trusted assessors. The trusted assessor framework is something that we're very strong on. It's not a new framework, but we think it's very much of the moment in terms of enabling, you know, a wide range of people and practitioners to, you know, to get involved in assessing people as part of their work. So if people would like to know more about that, just get in touch with DLF through the usual channels, and we'd be happy to talk either about our information and advice or the training side of things from that point of view. So yeah, thank you ever so much. I'm so sorry that almost the most interesting part of our talk wasn't shared, but obviously folks can view it on YouTube and on your website, so which is fantastic. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And I will encourage the suppliers in particular to use the portal or to talk to you about it, and how easy it is to use, and the fact that it is actually free to assessors. Oh, so a really positive piece of information here from, this is from Tracy, who talked about the Cumbria PGC, and she also says she's actually attended the DLF Trusted Assessor training as well, and highly can vouch for both of those. So from a student's mouth there, very great feedback, so thank you for that. So we're quite short of time, but just one question really that I'd like to ask all of you is, given the pandemic and the effects of that, do you feel that digital health is something that, because we've seen as an industry that there's been a momentum and we've moved on a lot further, do you see that this is something where the training will move outside the traditional professionals who've used digital health, but to move to a much wider audience in terms of related health professionals as well?
I hope so. I think it's very easy for a bit of tech to be purchased either by a service or a company and say, well, this is the answer. But unless that piece of tech is backed up with the training how to use that tech, both in terms of the technology, but also in terms of the end user, it doesn't actually add a huge amount of value to the actual intervention. For me and for my colleagues, the key thing is that if we're using a digital technology and moving forward and continuing to use that, it needs to be the best way of having a service and an intervention, or whatever you call it in your area, for those people, not just because it's convenient and saves some travel budget. You know, so it's got to be the best thing for the people that are the end users, and training is crucial for that, I feel.
Just to echo what Karen's saying, we feel very much that it's all equipment, you know, whether it's tech or non-tech, digital or non-digital. When you're assessing and prescribing, you're wanting to look holistically at the person and find the most suitable solution. And you know, in an area such as this, where there is a lot of change and innovation happening, as we saw in the early presentations, the value of training really comes into play in terms of giving people the confidence to engage with those new solutions and consider them really across the board. And it's important that that happens. Our experience of the last 12 months is that we used to provide all training face-to-face in venues around the UK. During the pandemic, we had to work very hard to get as many of those courses available online as possible in order for people to be able to be accredited as trusted assessors. There are still some courses which have to be delivered to some extent face-to-face, simply because of, you know, the practicalities of measuring things and what have you. But you know, if you look at our portfolio now, the majority of it is available either as a blended format or online, or in some cases still face-to-face. But it's critical that we all move in that direction. Yeah. Thank
you. Just one question either for Julian or Janet. So this is from Lucy O'Connor. She just wants to clarify that there's a cost to be able to access ProAssist.
To be able to access ProAssist, it's free for undergraduates, but there is a cost. It's a subscription-based service for other people. But in terms of cost, there is no cost for manufacturers and retailers to provide us with their product details. So for users, yes, although if they are students, then they can access that free whilst they're studying.
Thank you very much.
Can I just mention as well, I think on the, Janet mentioned the database that we have with 12,000 products on it. I think with the vendor portal, which will provide an electronic means of manufacturers providing us with information. I would just encourage everybody, all these manufacturers and suppliers that have been speaking today, to send us their details through that portal, because as Janet said, it is free of charge to have them included. And I think it's a great way to give people access to the products, and also products in the pipeline. I think new products that are soon to be launched, I think give that information to us and we can upload it. I think that's really, really important. And the more frequently, by the way, the product details are updated, then the more visible and more prominent those products become on our database.
Thank you for that, Julian. Okay, so we're just about running out of time. Can I just ask all the presenters to switch their cameras back on, if they would? I'd like to thank all the supplier presenters for your presentations. It was great to see some of the subjects that you covered were so similar, you know, using the advantages of the digital transformation. There's so much at the end of your presentations. I looked at collaborative working with other manufacturers, suppliers, providers, which was really great. And everyone, I think, covered to a degree, looking forward to how the digital networks would enable us to be more predictive, more preventative, and use big data in order to support the service user and their families in the future. So great to have the same messaging coming through from all the suppliers. Thank you very much for that. Our next event is on the 1st of February, Tuesday the 1st of February. We have 4 presentations from the KeySafe company, Apello, VAR Life, and a new member, Vonage Health. And we also have a panel session for providers and suppliers to look at how we can work more collaboratively post lockdowns or new lockdowns with the blue light services, which is something that we've done for many years, but now I think that's changed and the support is different. So we look forward to you joining us at that event at 11 o'clock on Tuesday, the 1st of February. And then we're really excited, obviously, about our first live event since 2019, which will be held at Dorking Halls in Surrey on the 15th of March. All the suppliers should have received invitations to that. They are for suppliers, they are free stands, and obviously for our partners as well in training. Non-members can actually purchase stands there if required. And it should be a very interesting event because there is huge emphasis on the digital switchover, which is being supported by NHSX, who are supporting us on the all IP zone. So definitely a date for your calendar. Some details already on the website, more to come. I look forward to seeing you on the 1st, if not on the 15th of March. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a good afternoon. Goodbye.